Welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I got a few DC updates for you. Something extraordinary happened today involving Jason Momoa, the Ray Fisher situation, some lot of attacks going at James Gunn today, and other things like Black Adam, Wonder Woman 1984, and of course a Superman and Lois. That's an interesting one. But now I want to thank my members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much for the members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. You guys are the lifeline of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much for clicking join and being part of the family. But I have to thank, especially gotta really thank the newest members today: Isaac Burbank, Jonathan Miller. I said it right this time, Jonathan Miller, and of course my newest, Kyle Yellowbird. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show. Of course, I also have to thank the subscriberships. Every single subscriber, thank you so much for being part of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much. But let's get on with some DC updates. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit more DC shows as I really want to make this channel exclusively all DC. I have to talk about DC shows as well, including from Elizabeth Tulloch. The last of the cast landed in Vancouver today to start their quarantines, getting close at CW Superman Lois. So Elizabeth Tulloch, Tyler Hoechlin is as Superman. They're all going to be on set pretty soon after their quarantines. I'm thinking maybe like 2 weeks, 14 days of quarantine after you land somewhere, especially even in Hawaii, you got to do that. Then they get to start shooting Superman and Lois. What's also interesting is I'm wondering if is this a new symbol? Like, is this a new a swish? It doesn't look like the Tyler Hoechlin, the usual swish. So I'm wondering if this is actually the newest logo they have there, Superman and Lois, which actually makes it much more understandable that he will definitely have a new suit and possibly a new S symbol as well. So as they get to start to shoot in 2 weeks, we'll probably see some on-set stuff, maybe even a glimpse at that new suit for Superman and Lois. So kind of intrigued by that. All right, now let's get into movies, right? The first movie we're going to talk about is Black Adam. Okay. Now I recently talked about this Variety article that came out, right? But I never got into the dates. And even though the title over here says November 2021 release, the date of release that they're planning is actually in December of 2021. But just looking at this, I need to have a conversation about this. The Rock's Black Adam movie will begin filming in the first quarter of next year with a planned December, not November. That's actually a typo. The December 2021 release. That's kind of tight. I'm thinking that's pretty tight, right? You're going to begin filming the first quarter, and then you're going to have to edit it in post-production and release it that same year. I don't think that's happening. So I think essentially, yes, that was probably their original date of release. Well, not original, but one of their plans or release dates. And like everything else in Warner Brothers right now, things will have to move. So they'll begin first quarter of next year, and I'm expecting Black Adam to actually be releasing the year after in probably 2022. I mean, it's not like we're not going to get a lot of stuff in 2021. There's still going to be a lot of stuff coming out in 2021. Wonder Woman 1984, maybe. I don't know. If it doesn't release in Christmas of the December 25th of this year, it may get released next year, right? Along with, we'll probably have the Suicide Squad, the Batman, so on and so forth, if they could keep their planned production schedule. I think the Suicide Squad probably has a lot more reason that it could release next year than per se the Batman, which hasn't started shooting, went back into production yet, but we're thinking it's probably going to go back to production this week. So we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 is yet to come out. It's been delayed for like over a year now. It's set to come out on December 25th of this year on Christmas. But it means that there could be some things that leak out in terms of like TV spots that should have made it release this year, right? And one of them is this old, not really old, but it is essentially an older TV spot that leaked out. But it gives you a small glimpse of a little bit of the tone that's going to come with this movie. Luis Fernando have put this out. The Wonder Woman 1984 domestic TV spot that never came to be, as it was meant to promote the old original June 5th release date. Check this out. Wink. And then 84 days to 84, which would have been great if it actually came out on June 5th. But looking at this again, look at that guy. Look at that guy go. Like, you almost go, boink. Boink. Wink. Okay, so a lot of people are kind of not too happy with this. I'm okay with it because knowing full well that, man, Patty Jenkins wasn't kidding. When she said this movie was going to be in the 80s, she shot it like it was in the 80s. And even the hijinks are like from the 80s. Like, seriously, she went all out in the 80s with this movie, and it clearly shows here. Now, we've been seeing the serious trailers with some little bit jokes here and there, but I think this little moment just gives you a glimpse of the kind of cheesiness you're going to see in this movie. And that's going to be acceptable because it is literally in the 80s. This is she filmed it like she was in the 80s. She's going to make it like it's in the 80s with practical effects here and there. And that's how it's going to play out. Now, I remember in the trailer that that she destroys the camera so she doesn't see it. But here she probably turns around or looks at one of these kids on the other side of the screen, winks at them, and says, "Hey, I'm a hero. Don't worry about this guy. I'm saving you." So that cheesiness actually fits this really well in this time period, and that's probably what Patty Jenkins is going to do. So be prepared. If this should prepare you enough of the hijinks, the cheesiness, they'll probably be in this movie that will not prepare you when you actually watch it. So watch this teaser and get prepared with that mindset in mind when this movie comes out. I'm just telling you, it's probably going to be like that. Not all of it. I mean, it's probably going to have some serious moments and things that you love from the first Wonder Woman movie as well. But essentially, there's going to have that spirit of the 80s in there, including down to like some of those cheesy action scenes. So, but now Patty Jenkins never got under fire for this. I don't think. I haven't been really watching. There was one director who got under fire for something today, quite a bit of something today, and he's actually kind of responding to a lot of fans. And that person is James Gunn. Okay, apparently today James Gunn addresses Kevin Feige's visit to the Suicide Squad set and leaks to Marvel. What am I talking about? Okay, so James Gunn put on Instagram, right? This little comment snippet here says that I told Kevin Feige before I took the job, and he was very cool and supportive as he always is. He just wanted me to make a good movie. He, and I can't say that name, I think it's Lou Despacito, whatever, even came to visit the set and watched us shoot. There isn't the anonymity of behind the scenes like there is in the fan community. Enmity. It means like you're hostile towards each other. That hostility. Okay, so big word there. But this is a response to someone asking him, what did Kevin Feige feel about you taking on the Suicide Squad job? Like, was he mad, or that's where the context of this was. Of course, this got people upset. Like, how did Kevin Feige from Marvel allowed in their competitor's set visit on Warner Brothers lot? Like, what is going on? What is going on, right? Now, I think in any other industry, this would be a big no-no. Usually you don't do that. Corporate-wise, you don't see one factory's president go to another factory and says, hey, what are you making? What are you making there, Elon Musk? Can I take a look at that? What's under the hood? No, I mean, I don't think that actually happens in that situation. Of course, in the Hollywood world, maybe there's a little bit more intermixing, right? Because James Gunn is really not the only person who have come from Marvel to DC and vice versa. Essentially, other people like Jay Oliva, for instance, he's animated for DC and Marvel and has helped on live action movies for DC and Marvel. So he's, intermixed between the two. So it really, I guess the competitiveness is not quite as hostile as we maybe think it is. Of course, I haven't been in Hollywood, so I don't know how that really works. Like, is someone from Warner Brothers allowed on Disney's lot? Like, how does that work, especially? But I guess James Gunn, he's friends with Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is, hey, I'm friends with the dude. I'm just bringing a friend on set, and I'm just going to have him look around and stuff like that. And, at that time, Jeff Johns was also friends with Kevin Feige as well. They were probably, like, talking to each other about, Kevin. He's probably asking Kevin, hey, Kevin, how do you make DC successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kevin? And Kevin probably, well, what's this and that? And they become buddies and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't really know how that works, but in this situation, it happened, right? James Gunn brought Kevin Feige onto the set of Suicide Squad, which got him on the firing line today with fans from all over, starting to talk about what if there are leaks, DC leaks going to Marvel. Jacob Airy, I don't know who this person is, and he said this. In essentially, he's firing off at James Gunn for flaming the flames. I guess fanning the flames. The only anonymity, James Gunn, is when you insult the fans like this. Sure, there are a few weirdos and trolls, but you big wigs is why your audience is dwindling. As response to this fandom post where it says James Gunn says Kevin Feige was very cool and supportive about him directing Suicide Squad, even visit the set. There isn't any, and I already said that. So, essentially saying, hey, you're really making it hard for us to kind of like you because you're doing this, and you're I don't know if he's mad that he's working together with Marvel and DC, not sure. But James Gunn saw this and he says, I didn't insult the fans. I am a fan, and I think by far the majority of folks in the fan community are accepting, cool people. But to say there isn't a lot of unnecessary fractionness between some Marvel and DC fans would be denial, ignorance, or dishonesty. And there are other fans who actually replied to this, like this one here. The DCEU keeps getting betrayed by people leaking secrets, plans, and ideas to the other side. Zack Snyder wasn't the first or the last to be betrayed. I hope you aren't betraying anyone. I enjoy your arts, but competition is healthy, and people shouldn't give DC's plans to Marvel. In which James Gunn says, I'm confused by the concept leaking scripts to the other side. I've never heard of anything like this. And Jezebel had to explain it to him a little bit. There are conspiracy theories that Jeff Johns betrayed Zack Snyder and leaked his 5-film Justice League plans with Kevin Feige, Darkseid, Thanos, Batman, Iron Man, Sacrifice, Time Man, Travel Aspects, etc. I have no idea about any of this, but I think that's what he is referring to. In which James Gunn replies, hey, Thanos was in a Marvel movie a year before Zack was ever hired by DC, so how could that be the case? And someone replied to him, I just like to point out that Man of Steel began principal photography in 2011. Thanos first appeared in 2012. Just had to correct you there. Fair enough. And Thanos was shot a year before. But I'm learning this whole conspiracy theory today. So to him, he has no idea what's going on. But he did say this, though. He says, sure. When someone asked, can a DC executive or director like Zack Snyder be on a Marvel movie set? And he said, sure. I'd love to have Jim Lee, Zack Snyder, and he's actually tagging him, Patty Jenkins, James Wan, David Ayer, Pony Smasher, Walter Hamada, Chantal Nong, or any of the people I really dig from the DC side of my life visit the set of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. They're invited for sure. So that's interesting. I would love to see that. That'd be kind of cool to see Zack Snyder step on the Marvel side. You know, maybe he'd be like, hey, why don't you let me direct a Marvel movie? Oh, why don't you let me direct a Star Wars movie or something like that? So he's offering that out, and we'll see. But interesting stuff. The going back and forth. I'm actually pretty surprised that James Gunn is actually responding here and there about this. Very intrigued by this whole conspiracy idea. I'm really wondering what you think about this whole thing. Do you think there is a conspiracy where they're leaking DC over to Marvel or vice versa? What do you think? Comment down below. Let me know. I really want to have a conversation about this. I'm seeing all these pictures and timelines and things like that, and I'm really wondering, is there something there or is there nothing there? And how far does it go? How deep does it go? That's really interesting stuff. It really is. But one thing that I know for sure is right now, not a conspiracy theory, is Ray Fisher's. Ray Fisher has a public update on the continuing investigation into the Justice League reshoots. Yes. So this part, there is one right here. Ray Fisher, he tweeted this out. To date, the independent firm hired by Warner Brother Pictures has conveniently avoided contacting key witnesses who gave damning statements to Warner Brothers Human Resource or HR. They've also started interviews with and have since ghosted witnesses that have implicated former and current top-level executives. Others include an implicated individual that called me to apologize, have already been interviewed. We will not let any investigator cherry-pick interviewees that best suit Warner Brother Pictures' false narrative and scapegoating efforts. All with stories will be heard, accountability over entertainment. I'm interested in that. Who is that implicated individual that called him to apologize? He only really implicated, right, others. Well, actually he said others. So it may not be an individual that he is publicly implicated, but if it is, it could either be John Berg, Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, or even Walter Hamada at this point. But I'm thinking not, because there is an Instagram video that you can check out for yourself. I'm not going to play the videos. It's really long, 23 minutes, but I suggest you take a look at it. The link is in the description below, where he breaks down details on the Warner Brothers Pictures investigation, including his call with Walter Hamada, his call with the Human Resources Vice President, HR Vice President, how he found out that it was actually Warner Brothers, getting those investigators, third-party investigators to them, not Warner Media, and them using Warner Media's name is a big no-no. So I'm really wondering what Warner Media really thinks about this, and other issues as well, including that more people will come forward and that he is like a voice. He's actually the microphone for a list of people right now. He wants to make sure they're all protected before they come forward, right? But he is essentially saying he is a microphone for a list, and he keeps getting calls for more and more people. There is a ton of people who are gonna come forward about the Justice League reshoots in multiple divisions, he said. Wow, how big is this and how deep does it go? I'm really, really wondering about this, right? And he said a whole list, and he said that he doesn't want everybody to come out because he wants to keep them protected and stuff like that. But there's one individual who may not need that protection anymore and is super confident that this is the right way to go, and he is coming out today. Again, Jason Momoa this time reiterates and has a giant description of his support, slams Warner Brothers, and calls for a proper investigation. What am I talking about here? This is the post here. Let me get out of that. So he went on Instagram and he put this out. This shit has to stop and needs to be looked at. Ray Fisher and everyone else who experienced what happened under the watch of Warner Brother Pictures needs proper investigation. I just think it's fucked up that people released a fake frosty announcement without my permission to try to distract from Ray Fisher speaking up about the shitty way we were treated on Justice League reshoots. Serious stuff went down. It needs to be investigated, and people need to be held accountable. Hashtag I stand with Ray Fisher. Aloha, Jason. Jason Momoa came out huge today with that gigantic statement, getting Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, almost every trade media talking about this today. It's huge. Ray Fisher had this to say about that. If you still think Jason playing Frosty was ever a real thing, please wake up. Hopefully now people see the depths that some are willing to go to hide the truth. I think they believed my brother would sell out the cast and crew of Justice League for a corncob pipe and a button nose. Accountability over entertainment. So there you have it. He didn't just support I Stand with Ray Fisher with an Instagram post. He truly believes in this. He is totally supporting in this. What is interesting, what he says in these words here that really gets me thinking how many more people are going to come out or what truly happened on the Justice League reshoots. He said this, speaking up about the shitty way we were treated on Justice League reshoots. We were treated. Serious stuff went down and needs to be investigated. People need to be held accountable. Even under here. And everyone else who experienced what happened under the watch of Warner Brothers Pictures. This is a call to arms like no other. Jason Momoa is telling everybody who has been involved in that Justice League reshoots to come forward, to contact Ray and tell them what's up. And they are going to virtually march at Warner Brothers and tell them that or at Warner Media, in fact, and tell them that Warner Brothers needs to be investigated over how they were treated in Justice League reshoots. That's huge. That's crazy huge. This is huge, guys. Big statement today. Oh wow, it's unfathomable. And yeah, that whole Frosty article that came out 90 minutes after Ray Fisher put out that first statement was truly false. I in the light of looking at this whole situation, I kind of have to say that was a really dumb move. Okay, Jeff Johns and John Berg. Really? Frosty? That's the best you can come up with in trying to silence this story and trying to sway our attention away from this. You could have said something else, like some DC property, like, oh, we're planning on Aquaman. I don't know. I'm not want to give you any ideas, but Frosty. And now Jason Momoa says that was pretty much a fake announcement. Now people are wondering why. Why didn't he say this that day? Why didn't he say this before? And I think that just goes back to the part where Ray Fisher says that he wants to make sure that certain people are protected before they speak up. And so something must have happened in the background behind the scenes where Jason Momoa is protected, probably because he's probably still going to do Aquaman 2. He's got Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maybe we have people behind his back at Warner Media saying, don't worry, Jason, you say what you need to say, and we're going to stop this right now. We're behind you. So it looks like it's getting much more in depth. There's a lot more needs to go on as this story is there's still a lot more going on in the story as we continue to look at this, and I'll continue to cover anything that happens from this on forward. This investigation is going to be big. Just imagine if the other Justice League members come out, Gal, well, maybe not Henry, Gal, Ezra, most importantly, Ben Affleck. What does Ben Affleck think about all this? I wonder. But yeah, so that is huge. That's a big thing that happened today, in addition to the other things that have happened today. And there's going to be many more news from here on forward. Like I said, if you enjoy, if you like my daily DC movie updates, now including DC shows and games, please click the like button, hit that subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.